We are live on our second weekly. I don't know if we're gonna do this weekly, but this is our second Google Hangout talking about The Walking Dead. Last time we talked kind of generally about the show and about some things that have gone on recently. But so if you're watching this episode, hopefully you've caught up with episode 4 of season 5, which I think was called Slab Town. Something like that.
Yes, Slapdown.
Yeah, so hopefully you've seen it. Otherwise, there's going to be a whole lot of spoilers. So what we saw this past week was basically Beth waking up in a hospital, similar to the very first episode where Rick wakes up in a hospital, and just kind of like dropped out of nowhere, and all of a sudden,
Somehow it's more crazy than Rick's abandoned hospital.
yeah, exactly. And which the first thing was kind of weird was you see a ticking clock, and so you get the idea that it's
There's electricity.
there's electricity, and it's yet another place that is some kind of community. So the weird thing about this episode was that there was no other characters in the entire episode except Carol at the end. But
Yeah.
but like Rick or like any of the other main characters weren't in it. Um, so yeah, so let's talk about Beth. Okay, so um, do you think Beth ends up teaming up with Carol and busting out, or do you think it's going to be the end of them, end of the line for one of them?
End of the line, for sure.
No.
I'm positive.
I think
Well,
they'll
one-
work it out. But
One of them has to go.
Yep.
This is what I was saying last week, is that, Carol and Beth fill these similar roles of these kind of weak, frail women who have become strong, capable, too many cooks in the kitchen. One of them's got to go.
See, I don't think that Beth has stepped up to that role at all. I think Beth's sole purpose was babysitter, and now that Tyrese is taking over babysitting duties instead of doing anything remotely useful that like a gigantic man could do, he's taken the place of Beth. But yeah, I'm quite certain that one of them is dead. I think that it's Beth.
I disagree.
Tyrese replaced Beth.
I disagree. I think that just to give my 2 cents, I think that Carol and Beth, I think that especially putting a whole episode to her, I don't think at all it was a farewell. I think that she'll. I mean, obviously, if I had to choose, I would choose Carol survive, but I think Beth, you saw her kind of transform in a sense, in that to kind of get out of the soft mode. Like, hey, we're in a post-apocalyptic era. You can't be. You can't just be how you were. You have to have some toughness to you. But I think Carol, and I'm not sure if she snuck in or if she got caught, but I think that they'll both get out.
Yeah, Carol is obviously there for Beth. I mean,
Yeah.
It's Carol. Let's not mess around. And secondly, Beth was about to straight murder that doctor, shank him in the head, because Beth grew up with her dad who had that veterinary experience. So she was going to replace him as a doctor. That was the whole plan. I mean, did you guys miss that at the end? She was about to
Oh, no, she was going to take him out.
She was going to take him out, and she was going to take his place. That's not frail. That's not weak. That's a Carol move right there.
But was she really going to take his place, or was she doing it just to throw the whole thing into chaos?
Nah, she's not.
I
That would
think
be
she's just
Carol.
burning it to the ground. I think she's burning it to the ground.
Right. Because she said, she was like, no one's coming. There's no one
Yeah,
coming
she's-
for us.
She's done. She's done with it.
I don't know. I don't think they would have shown her cut on her wrist if she was done. That was a reminder of where she was versus where she is. So
We also have to. I was just gonna say we also have to remember the guy. I can't remember the guy's name. The black kid from Everybody Hates Chris.
Noah.
The one that
Noah.
Noah, the one that escaped with. He was trying to escape with Beth, and he escaped. I think somehow they'll connect it to where he runs into Rick or somebody, because Rick's not having that. Rick's gonna have the whole camp. They're gonna end up fighting those guys, because I mean I thought it was just the doctor and the officer and maybe like a few other people, but when they tried to escape, you see all these guys come out with guns and different stuff. So they have more people there that have not been introduced yet. So I think that's going to cause a confrontation between Rick and his camp versus them because Terminus is out of the way, So
I
I
think
think that
Noah.
might survive.
I think Noah's the guy that Daryl brings along. Like, what you saw Daryl in the
Oh,
woods. I think
Yeah,
it's
you might. Oh, that's all. I didn't even think of that. That's awesome.
because if Carol's gone and Beth's not there, so like that would be the only other that would be the other logical person.
yeah. And he's gonna tell the group, and the group is gonna mount a rescue.
Yeah,
Could be.
that's what I think.
I still think Beth gets lost because look at who look at Daryl's relationship to the two women, to Carol and to Beth, because there's obviously some sort of like romantic something going on between, at least it's implied that there's something romantic going on between him and Carol, but then there's like this brother sister like vibe that's coming from him and Beth, and he has this like ashamed I let my sister down vibe when he pops out of the bushes at the end of the last episode. I think I might be reading into that too much, but I think that it's because he lost Beth.
Now, do you think that it's possible that I think they're probably setting it up for Daryl having to kind of like choose who he's going to save, Carol or Beth? Like
That could
he's
be
gonna,
possible.
what decision he's going to, and then he's obviously going to lament the having lost the other one.
That could definitely be possible. But just right now, the way I see it, I think both of them will get out. I think just the whole emphasis. I don't think they did a whole show to Beth to write her off.
Well,
And
they
I
did a
don't see
whole
them
bunch
writing
of
Carol
shows.
off.
You're right about that, but they did a whole bunch of shows that were just the governor last year.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
true.
nothing about the rest of the group, just the governor. So it's not that weird for them to do that.
Yeah,
But
that's
I
true.
think what's really disturbing is that not once have we heard Maggie ask about Beth. Have we?
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Weird.
Yeah,
Now,
her own sister.
That's true.
I want to talk a little bit about the doctor because when he's first kind of on the scene, he seems like the kind of guy trying to take care of Beth. Like he seems relatively ethical, but then he goes and pulls the old Dr. Kevorkian trick.
Jovan, are you just like munching on chips over there?
Yeah.
That's like all we can hear from you.
Get your popcorn.
I'm trying to get this thing open, man, without being too long.
It's like when you're in a movie theater, you
Okay,
open the bag,
hold up.
Yeah,
Just do it. Just open it.
like a Band-Aid.
I'm gonna mute it while you guys talk.
What I
like
like
a
to
boss.
what I like to do in a movie theater is bring in my own can of soda, and then like during a scene in the previews, it's like really loud, some explosion, then that's when you go and you pop the top on that bad boy. So anyway, we're coming at this kind of from a Christian worldview perspective, and so we're talking a little bit about the doctor. I forget his name now. Dr. Feelgood. He basically has Beth kill that guy, and so like now he's outed kind of as a murderer. I mean, that's just before he was kind of like nebulous, like should we save this person? Should we not? We don't have the resources. We don't have the ability to. I don't know what to do. But now it's kind of like he straight up killed the guy. He sent somebody to kill. So that's no good. Like so from a Christian worldview, like now I think we have an obligation now to kind of like root against this guy because.
Mm-hmm. But then there's also the conflict there because he's the only one who, not to justify him, but to sort of take devil's advocate on this, he's the only one now that has the potential to save life. Like
Yeah,
he's the one in that position.
It's interesting because he kind of seemed like the moral compass of that group to some degree, to whatever degree though that group is capable of having a moral compass as things were unfolding, and then to realize like, well, he's just trying to survive pretty much like everyone else is, and he's gonna do whatever it takes. It's like, yeah, there's some weird duplicity there, and like I don't know whether to like him or not.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like you start off obviously like, okay, this guy seems like maybe he's trapped in a bad situation and trying to make the best of it, but then as soon as he basically tells Beth to give the guy the wrong prescription, then it's like, okay, something weird is going on here. So I think at that point it's kind of a like, okay, there's more to this than what's on the surface when we first get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if we talk for a second about the bad cop, I was all I could think about
Well, they're all bad cops. Like,
Well, yeah.
I think it seems pretty clear they're all sort of in this together.
Like a cult.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know it's kind of weird. It's almost it's interesting. Is like it seems like there's a little bit of political kind of commentary in this particular episode because you have like this like basically two strata of people. You have um you have
Wards.
yeah you have the cops with the guns and like the people in authority, and you have like the wards who are like just basically subservient people to like the higher class of people, almost like kind of like Animal Farm. You have like one set of people over here that are trying to carry the fire or kind of keep everything going, and then you have another group of people that are like they're only there just to help like the greater good, you know, and that's kind of how they're keeping them in check. Anybody see any parallels or anything like that?
Between who?
I mean, just like modern political theory. I mean, I feel like I feel like you have. It's almost like a communistic kind of like Woodbury was kind of communistic in a way, but like it was like a totalitarian.
Yeah, totalitarian.
And you have like one guy tops. He had like a Hitler kind of figure, but now this is kind of like something like China or some other kind of place where you have a set of elite people and then like everybody else.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that they hinted at that they didn't say real explicitly. It seems like there was the officer lady. Was it Dawn?
Mm-hmm. Dawn. She was the head woman.
Yeah. She seemed like she was sort of in charge, but then there was like it was hinted that she was answering to somebody else. Did anybody else catch that?
That she was hinting that somebody else was in charge? Yeah, somebody that like was before.
Yeah, well, I thought that it was like somebody that was still in the picture, like somebody that was still.
The guy that she had to answer to died. Hanson. They like cut to a picture of him and everything. Or did you think there was somebody else?
I thought that it was hinting that there was still somebody else that she was answering to. That she was scared, like that there was somebody else that's still in the picture that she's scared of. Because she seems like, I don't know if you guys, I just finished watching before we started this, but it seems to me like she was as scared as everyone else and basically just kind of like hanging on for dear life because there's somebody else that she's scared of.
Well, she thought that's what they're supposed to do. Like, she kind of, I thought, gave some like moral weight to when they get here, we're going to be the ones that are hanging on, and that's what we have to do. And it's almost like she feels that hanging on is just their job while they're waiting. And Beth thought that was silly.
Well, now, the woman who had her arm amputated, what was her role? Like, how did she get... Did Gorman, the bad cop, the real bad cop, did he do that to her? Like, I kind of missed what happened there.
She was trying to escape, and she was screaming when they dragged her back in that she didn't want to go back to him. And I think him was a reference to Gorman.
Okay.
And then they cut her arm off because she had gotten bit when she escaped.
Okay. I was so happy when when that whole thing ended with them in the office. But like, how did my next question is like, how did she get into the office?
Why was she in the office?
Yeah, did they explain that at all? Because it was like she's like on a key.
She was getting the ambulance key, or not the ambulance key, the elevator key.
No, but how did the woman with the amputated arm get in there?
It didn't seem like the office was locked.
Right, but like, how much time had passed between the time she got her arm amputated and the time that she ended up in there?
I don't think they answer that. They don't tell us why she was in there.
Like, all of a sudden, she's just...
It could have been that she was trying to escape, and the officer found her in there, Dawn found her in there and killed her, but why wouldn't she have finished her off? I don't know.
I don't know. It seemed like she had committed suicide, let herself bleed out so that she would turn in the lady's office so that she could then potentially like attack her or something like that.
Brilliant.
That's what it seemed like.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Because she already like wanted to die. She didn't want to be there. But then, like, that seems like if I were in that position and we're already, like, suicidal, then I guess that would be the most logical. Sort of most logical. I don't know. Suicide isn't logical, but...
Right.
Yeah, it seemed a little odd to me that Noah was so willing to tell Beth like all his escape plans like off the bat. You know, it was just like he was just kind of like dying to tell somebody that he was getting ready to bust out. I mean,
one of the things they didn't
how would
do
he know that she wasn't going to rat on him?
Yeah. Well, one of the things they didn't do a very good job of in this episode, I thought, was they didn't do a good job of explaining like the time, how much time was passing, because this is going from like presumably like the day after, or like couple of days after Beth got taken back in season 4, all the way through to where they are now after Terminus, which it's so like it seemed like it was just like a day or two in the video in the episode, but I mean this was hypothetically like I don't know like several weeks have gone by.
I think that was the I think that was the artistic license that they took. One, to have people like us talk about it. We're trying to figure it out, and I think they'll answer some of those questions like the time, because like you said, was it a day or two? Was it a few hours? Was it was it the next day, or was she like in a type of coma or something where they were treating her and then she woke up, and you know what I'm saying? Like we don't know exactly, but I think especially with Carol being there, I think they'll probably have some dialogue with Beth and Carol, like, hey, I've been here for a whole month, or it's been however long.
Right.
And I think they'll kind of I think they left a lot to the imagination purposely to get people talking about it.
Now, did it seem like to you that Carol had like longer hair than she had before? Like she looked a little bit like it didn't look like she looked like right after they took care of like it looked like a longer period of time between the time that she left and the time.
I didn't think so, because it had been her hair is a little bit longer this season than it was the last couple of seasons.
Okay.
Yeah,
and she got kidnapped by one of those cars, right? So
no, she didn't. Carol didn't get kidnapped.
Yeah.
Carol went with Daryl.
Yeah.
Right, but then she take off how did she leave the group?
She was there with Daryl. And then the one car drove by, and the two of them jumped in the Cadillac and chased it.
Yeah.
We don't know that Carol wasn't kidnapped.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I mean, like it could have been, but like she was with Daryl, and they were chasing. They were pursuing the people.
Because I'm thinking the guy Noah, was that his name, Noah, that escaped?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that Noah, I mean, it's possible that Noah went and found Daryl. Like you said, Daryl could be, the guy in the bushes could have been Noah. And then he could have ran into, Noah could have ran into Daryl and Carol. And that could have caused Carol to be like, hey, I'm going to go in and sneak in. It may have been something versus, she found out. I mean, how else logically would she find out unless she was kidnapped? You know what I'm saying? Why else would she be there unless Noah escaped and then he ran into Daryl? They may explain that next week. Who knows exactly how it happened? But I'm thinking somehow he ran into both of them, and that's how Carol, if Carol didn't get kidnapped, that's how she found out about it.
If that's the case, that's going to drive me nuts, because I live north of Atlanta, and let me tell you what, Grady Memorial Hospital is nowhere near any kind of forest.
Yeah.
So if he got out of there, he would have had to have had a vehicle. Of course, I don't know, an artistic license. Are they going to take that into play? But
yeah.
When I'm watching this, I have all these places in my mind, and I'm like, there ain't no way he's getting to a forest, not from Grady.
Yeah, I got you. I mean, there's all kind of ways. I mean, especially, you can hotwire a car. You can do. I mean, there's certain things, but I get you. It would make more sense if if they did it another way, which they probably did. It was just a hypothesis of then that leads me to think, okay, well maybe she did get kidnapped. Maybe they did catch her, or maybe she was trying to look for her and then they caught her, or just whatever. I don't know.
That's my guess.
Yeah.
I'm wondering too if the person behind Daryl could be the black dude that they showed at the end of
Yeah.
what was that? End of episode 1? No,
The older man.
the guy from season 1.
The older
Morgan.
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 Yeah, that's possible.
And something else that I heard on the interwebs is that there was a character from season 1 who left the original camp when they were out in the woods. His name was like Martinez, and they gave him a car and like
he would just family.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I heard they're gonna somehow reintroduce his character.
Wow, that's possible.
So I don't. Yeah.
I do not remember him at
Total
all.
speculation.
He was in the original camp when Rick
When Rick
got
first
back.
came in.
Yeah,
It was kind
He
of him and
was-
Shane running the show.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he got taken out.
No, he left.
There were a few guys. There were like 3 or 4 other guys that kind of dropped like flies in the first season. So there was Carol's husband, who was the abusive douchebag. There was the one guy, the kind of skinnier guy that was working on the engine of the RV, and then there was Martinez and his family.
Mm-hmm.
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, I had to go back and look up, season 1 to figure out who that was, but that's just rumors. I don't know.
Now, what was Beth doing immediately before Carol rolls in? Like, was she, like, what exactly happened? Like right there,
She was about to murder the doctor and take his place.
I got to go back and watch that then.
She had the
something in her hand.
pig sticker in her hand. Yeah.
So there was obviously a
She had a
period of
scalpel.
time. So there was a period of time between the time she got like captured out in the yard to the time she got back in, and then she was like let alone enough to be able to get something else to be able to kill.
Oh, she
I
was
don't
with
think so. I think she was brought directly back in.
She was with the doctor getting patched up, wasn't she? And he was.
Yeah, he was
that
patched
when
And she must have snatched the
confronted
scalpel
him.
then.
What was that?
Was
She
told.
must have. Yeah, she must have grabbed the scalpel then when she was in with the doctor.
So it makes it seem as if like that happened right after, like she's back in, Carol gets picked up like as.
Yeah,
Okay.
but again, they don't do a good job of establishing timelines in this episode.
Yeah, because one thing that was kind of weird to me, that like when she was out in the yard and like there was like a bunch of walkers and stuff, it seemed like they were getting picked off from someone else, and was that the people that were
Yeah,
eventually
that was the
capturing
cops. Yeah, that was the cops that were coming after Beth.
Beth? Okay. One thing that kind of bothers me as the show kind of progresses is the consistency of facial hair on the show. Specifically, Abraham's goatee, which I'm not sure how he's able to keep that so fresh. Has anyone ever shaved with a knife?
They still have razors and stuff.
I keep all my knives sharp enough to shave with.
Yeah, but do they still have their knives after Terminus? Like after they got let go of Terminus?
Well, some of them got some of their knives back, and I mean, like, knives are easy enough to find.
Yeah.
They still have bags with item stuff. Remember when the what's the Chinese guy's name?
Glenn.
Glenn? Yeah,
He's
when they went to the
Korean.
what was it? Yeah, Korean. Okay.
Whatever.
What's the human's name with the slanted eyes?
Yeah, can we edit that out?
Yeah, y'all know what I'm talking about, the Korean. Whatever he is, I don't know what he is. I just know he's not, he's
He's
not
the
white
kid
or
from
black.
Indiana Jones.
Huh?
He's the kid from Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
No, he is.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
No, that was definitely. Look him up. They're on IMDb.
Shia
The kid from Indiana Jones, the kid who played Short Round, was that his name? He's like
that was-
60 years old.
Oh, okay.
Indiana Jones was made a long time ago.
Yeah,
No, dude, that was-
80s.
He's Long Duck Dong, dude.
Yeah. Well, anyway, remember they went into that store? It was a Family Dollar or something. It was one of those convenience stores. But I mean, they still have those available, so it's not like they can't. It's not like it's not like it's impossible for them to have razors in the bag or something. So it's not like unlikely. It's not like they're back in the 500 BC or something.
When I think that the actor who plays Glenn, he was in an episode of The Big Bang Theory, like one of the earlier episodes.
He
And
ran out. He was one of the roommates, and then he ran out. It was like the
he
very
was
first
Sheldon's
episode. Wasn't it?
roommate directly previous to Leonard, and like on the wall he wrote like in like blood kind of letters like "Die Sheldon Die," and I don't even know if he was on. I don't even know if The Walking Dead had come on yet, or maybe had like just started. But I thought that was kind of funny. I mean, the way they did that. But
For the record, the actor's name who played Short Round in Indiana Jones, his name is Jonathan K. Kwan. He was born in August of 1971.
Yes,
And
he's a
Stephen
little
Yen
bit
is
older.
40.
I've never seen any of the Indiana Jones movies.
No.
He's a little bit older.
Yeah.
Actually, well, all you need to see about Indiana Jones, all you need to see is Raiders of the Lost Ark, firstly. But then it gets spoiled by Big Bang Theory, actually, when they introduced the idea that really the whole movie didn't really need to happen because, well, I won't spoil it for you, but basically the plot line is completely moot because of what happens at the end.
Yeah, just, you know what? Skip straight to Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
No.
That was a joke. That was totally
I haven't watched it.
sarcasm.
No one can give me a straight answer. The ride at Disneyland is great.
No, the original Indiana Jones were fantastic movies.
And
then they made Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and that was just a gigantic steaming turd.
That was awful. I like the first one. That's it. Like I don't like the other two. But yeah. So okay. So all right. So what else happened in this episode? You had I think here Killer Cop, artwork being hung around.
Salvaged, sort of.
Just salvaged, just for like you get it at Home Goods or something like that.
Did we? I stepped out to put my son to bed. Did we talk about the girl whose arm they cut off?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
Well, we were trying to establish. So was she? Did we actually establish that she was a ward of Gorman? Like he was like his personal servant?
Well, he said like she's mine
Okay.
when he was bringing her back in. So like he had staked some kind of claim on her.
Yeah, and that probably was impetus
there's
for
kind of implications of what that meant.
Right. Well, yeah, and that's probably the impetus for her to actually leave.
Exactly.
Her to want to get the heck out because she wasn't having that. And
Yeah.
then,
It kind of seemed like she wanted to go. She wanted to die and yeah.
And we were trying to figure out why it was that she was dead in the office for kind of inexplicable. And it was inexplicable why she was just like laying dead there.
Well, I think that she went in there and killed herself, hoping she would turn and kill what's her name?
Joan.
Yeah,
not Joan. Dawn.
Yeah, because it seemed like nobody liked her. Everyone was just kind of. Yeah, there's a lot to that lady, and that partner that was in the picture with her, and why, there's something nefarious going on there.
When I first saw the Beth in the hospital, my first reaction was I immediately thought it was some type of because I don't remember because I just recently started watching the show. I don't remember in season 1 if they explained how the virus got out. Did they ever explain that? Like was it something in a lab or was it some type of
No.
Okay.
They're hinting what the scientist guy that they were taking to Washington. I'm drawing a blank on his name. He hinted or he implied that it was like chemical or biological weapons that had gotten out. And that was why he was trying to get to Washington so that he could reset the clock, as he said.
Gotcha. My first reaction when I saw like the doctors and stuff, I was in I saw her in the bed and stuff, or the hospital, whatever it was. My first reaction was thinking, are these the people that kind of started this whole virus thing, right? So I was thinking like maybe they're gonna start going into that aspect of the story of like, hey, these are some type of whether it's by accident or it's by population control or war, like you said. That was my first reaction, but then as I started seeing it going on, I'm like, oh, okay, this is just like another cult of people that are trying to control other people. So but my first initial reaction was like, hey, maybe this is going deeper as far as how it started, because they still haven't told us that part of the story.
Yeah, the thing I can't get over about this particular group of people, it seems that you have the greater good concept, or the idea that like people are, it's like it doesn't really matter by what means we get what we want or what we think should be. It's all like for the greater good. And I think that's what separates Rick and his group. For the most part, he's been like a good guy. I don't remember too many bad things that he has like on his conscience. Like it seems like even
other than stabbing the guy like 73 times.
But that was a big problem. That was I mean, that was
went nuts there for a while.
What guy are you talking about?
The guy who was on top of Carl at the end of season 4.
Oh yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, that's
in fairness, I probably would have done the same thing.
Yeah.
Maybe not that many times.
That was a crime of passion.
Yeah.
Not even a crime.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, he should have died. I mean, it was either him or his son. So I mean,
yeah.
I don't see that as wrong.
And the way in which he did it is a little questionable. And the other thing that always bothers me about this, about what Rick did one time, was there's some guy on the side of the road who was walking, and it was like him and Carl, and he's like, we need to stop for this guy.
The guy with the orange backpack.
Yep.
Yeah, and then they come back and get the backpack later on, and it was kind of like tongue in cheek. I don't know. It was that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, but overall, I think it held together pretty good.
Yeah. He's definitely not perfect. So.
Yeah. Well, that was also in the middle of the whole we can't trust anybody. Woodbury's out to try to kill us.
Yeah.
That whole episode. So it was. I mean, I could see why he would be leery to pick up a stranger.
Was that before the prison? Was that between the farm and the prison, or were they in the prison at that point?
Yeah, they were in the prison at that time, and they were. I think that was when. I think that was after Glenn and Maggie had gotten taken by the governor, and so I think they were on their way to try to get them back.
Yeah.
There's a town called Woodbury near my house, or near where I live. So every time I see that, I think of somebody taking over.
Do you guys really not think that his character arc is getting darker and darker and darker?
Rick?
I think he's getting conflicted now. I think he put this really.
He's been conflicted since they got the prison.
Well, yeah, what I meant,
calmed down.
Not conflicted. Yeah, I think he's at this redemption point right now.
I think he calmed down.
Yeah, because I think Carl keeps trying to bring him back with what he says is we're strong enough to help people. We don't have to be changed. And then there was the bit that Bob said in the last episode where he's nightmares end, but they don't have to change who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think he's getting pulled back towards the good side.
Yeah, but see, I think too that he is. He doesn't want to tolerate evil at all. He wanted to stay and kill everyone at Terminus. They don't get to live.
Yeah.
And he was right. He was absolutely right.
Yeah.
It would have saved Bob. Well, no, Bob got bit, so it wouldn't have saved Bob. It would save the flag temporarily. Yeah. But it would have saved a whole lot of trouble had everyone just kind of taken Rick's word for that. So, but yeah, there is this weird thing going on with Rick where it's the conversation that he had with Coral. You are not safe no matter who you're with, no matter where you are never safe. Always guard up, never relax, head on a swivel, but there's something going on with Rick. I can't tell though. I mean, yeah, I think it's just kind of an intolerance and a hatred of evil, and I don't know if it's darkening his persona or his character per se, or making him better. I don't know.
Well, they had that whole phone episode in what was that, season 3?
That was back in season 3. That was a while back.
Season 3, and that was kind of his breaking point. And he hasn't been, The first
Well,
two
like,
seasons, you had good cop, bad cop, and who was Rick? Rick was the good cop, but it's not that clear anymore.
yeah. Well, like Rick is like he's on this like constant kind of pendulum going back and forth. So like he started off being, the singular good guy on the show, and then after they got to the prison and Lori died, he just like obviously went crazy for like several episodes. Like he was just nuts there for a while when he was talking to people on the phone.
Yeah.
And then he sort of that carried through, I think, to the end of season 3, and then season 4 was this kind of like the pendulum swinging back the other way, because it starts off with him just like Farmer Rick planting crops and like raising pigs and stuff, and then as
But he
things
was
go
hurt, and he wasn't seeing clearly, though.
by, yeah,
I mean,
exactly. But
planting
then
crops, but he wasn't healthy.
yeah, no, yeah. He was still kind of crazy, like he was still delusional there, but it was like overly optimistic delusional, and then it's like towards the middle of season 4, that's when the governor attacks the town, and that's where like the pendulum starts swinging back the other way, and I think that it hits like the far like bad guy Rick at Terminus. I think that like the like episode or 2 leading up to Terminus, and then like Rick in Terminus, is like that. That's like the far swing of the pendulum the other way, and I think he's starting to swing back. Maybe I don't know.
I would really like the show to go more in a direction of like what is happening in the outside world as opposed to just like the immediate group, because it's like we've gone from like the small camps, and then there was like the prison, or first it was the farm, and then there was the prison, and then there's Woodbury, and then Terminus, and now the hospital, and now it's kind of like I would like them to get to a place where there's like bigger players, or like bigger groups of people, or like just not so much like secluded little tiny communities where they're like
right,
fighting
the
amongst
tribe
themselves.
of 10, right?
Right, yeah. So
Yeah,
I
and
don't
they're
know.
even like breaking it smaller, because they did have one sizable group, and then it's like getting whittled down. So now they have like 3 subgroups.
Yeah, and I still think that Eugene is full of crap, and he has no clue about what's going on with the virus. He's just using Abraham to get where he needs to go. And you keep on seeing this over and over again, like in the previews and stuff, where like Abraham kind of like drops to his knees like on the open road.
Yeah. Yep.
Like he's like dejected about something, and so either Eugene dies in the future, or he realizes that he's been on a fool's errand for all this time.
Yeah, he kind of seems like he might be somebody who just like needs an assignment, like he needs to have like a goal or something.
Yeah, he's a soldier.
Right.
Exactly.
He's on mission.
Yeah, he's missional. I think all celebrity pastors should have the flat top like that.
Right.
And the gigantic mustache.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, you need a beard, not the mustache. Yeah. So going forward, I'm really looking forward to seeing what's going to happen, like, because the group is going to get involved with the hospital somehow, and there's going to be some kind of shootout. But like we were kind of saying, like there's the hospital scene has so far been like really disjointed. Like you don't know how long they've been there. Number one. Number two, you don't know how many people are actually in the building, because it seems like there's like 3 or 4 cops, 3 or 4 ward people, and then like that's all you've been seeing really. So, but then again, they have like all these crops growing like under lights and stuff like that. So I think that it would be nice to kind of see them get like the group back into the city, and to see them kind of interact with other people, because I'm hoping that the whole place, because didn't they go to Atlanta in the first episode or the first season? Like they were back in Atlanta, right?
Yeah, the first season they make it to Atlanta because that's where the CDC is at. And then the CDC guy kind of goes nuts and blows himself up.
Yeah, the guy from Truman Show.
Yeah, that it's so strange that there's some holes here that are needing to be filled in because it's pretty clear the group can't be that far out of Atlanta, which is strange. It seems like they should be further away from Atlanta. Clearly they're not. And Atlanta's a huge city. And so these cars from the hospital are way out in the middle of wherever Daryl and Beth were, and picking her up, and so they're getting in and out of the city somehow safely. That's bizarre to me.
You can barely do that when it's not the apocalypse.
Yeah, remember those big huge herds of walkers that were like constantly like on the highway? You know, you saw like this highway that's just littered with cars and like gridlock. You know, people obviously have left the city and they got stuck. But like, so like, where are all those hordes and hordes of walkers that were roaming the streets when Rick was in the tank? Remember that? You know, when first meeting up with Glenn and stuff. So
they're dead.
They could still be there. Like, for all we know, it's not like these things are super smart to be like, hey, it's time to, walk somewhere else. They're just kind of hanging out there.
What is the half-life of a zombie? Like, how long is it going to be until they actually disintegrate?
I would think that they'd have disintegrated a long time ago, because it's been like 4 years now since the apocalypse, and they were pretty nasty in the first episode.
Has it been that long though in the actual timeline of from the beginning till right now? Like what?
I think it has to be. I think it has to be to explain for the kids growing up.
Carl.
Yeah, right.
Like his gigantic voice drop.
Right.
But because you can track it by the baby, Judith. Mm-hmm. Because she gets pregnant pretty much right after the apocalypse happens. Right. Okay, 10 months later she has a baby. That baby looks 10 to 12 months old.
Yeah, it can't be
talking less than 2 years at the, if you want to undershoot it, a little over 2 years if you want to overshoot it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But, new walkers are being added to the stock every time, so.
They're being added daily, like an axe.
Right.
That's that biblical world.
Wow. Pulling it back around.
That biblical world, man.
Wow.
But I mean, eventually you are going to run out of walkers. I mean, eventually there will be no more. I mean, because presumably 95% or 98% of the population is gone. So there's a limited supply, and there's very few children being born. Presumably.
Seems like a safe bet.
Did we talk about this before? Is Maggie pregnant? Did we say that she was or was not, or did I just dream that?
No, we talked about it.
And I completely just made that up out of my head.
No, we talked about it last week.
Yeah, we did a little bit.
Did we ever determine whether or not that I was making that up?
No, we didn't.
I don't think she is, but.
Didn't she tell Glenn that she's not and that everything's good, but that if she had been, it was okay?
Back at the prison, they were talking, just like before the governor attacked, they were talking about it, and like she didn't want to, and then she did, and so it's like she hadn't wanted to, and then they were like, everything's going to be okay now, and so then they were like going to try, and then the governor attacked and blew up the prison with a tank.
Yeah, they need to go back and get that tank. Well, that tank was disabled, wasn't it?
Yeah, it got blown up pretty well.
Maybe it's my OCD characteristics, but like I would definitely be looking for a tank and then like make it my personal mission just to like rid the world of them all, like myself. So like I don't like they always let them like kind of live and hang out if they're behind a fence or something. To me, like I'd be like I'm too. I couldn't handle that. Like I would have to get rid of them all the time.
You gotta save your energy, man.
I guess. Like if
the funny thing is, go ahead.
No, I'm done.
No, I was just gonna say the funny thing is, man. I think we talked about this last week. as bad as the walkers are, they're not really the real threat. The real threat is the humans.
Exactly.
It's like the walkers, they're, let them stay on the playground and walk around like, these walkers, zombies or whatever. They're not bothering nobody. You just have to be careful. But it's the humans that pose the real threat. Those are the ones that are plotting. The walkers don't have a mind. They're just, they're just walking around. If they see you, they'll try to bite you. But that's it. You can
They're
easily
like an
defeat that.
environmental hazard. They're not really like they're not really an enemy.
Yeah, like watch out for the scorpions,
Yeah.
watch out for the rattlesnakes over there. But it's the humans that is the the guy you're sleeping next to. That's what I love about the show. You show the depravity of man. It's like, yo, as bad as this is, you're the real problem.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what would happen is if they ever got this under control, or at least like there was society, there'd be like a Kickstarter account to like create, some kind of device that kills you immediately after you die.
Like a helmet to wear around all the time.
At the $1 level, you can get a sticker. It's like a collar that you wear or something like that. So when you die, your loved ones are safe because your head will explode. So
it's crazy seeing the zombies.
It's like a hat with explosives wrapped around it.
Yeah, but see the problem with that, Summer, you might know about this. Like we have one of those baby monitors that has like it's like this thing like that tells you whether or not they stop breathing, and like you put it under their mattress, whatever, and that thing is worthless because it goes off like false alarm like every 2 seconds, and like the worst possible thing you could have is like thinking that your baby is suffocated. So like you eventually just throw that thing away. So that'd be the problem. Like that thing kind of malfunctions and start exploding heads.
Massive recall.
Decides to sneeze or something. But I think they need something like that. Some kind of protocol where like bunk beds are just not going to be an option in the future. For people. All right. Well, I think we've covered a lot of stuff. Anybody else have any interesting things they want to bring up?
I didn't read the comic. I'm still dying to know how this whole thing started.
Yeah, I've thought about like trying to read them, but there's like 300 or something episodes now.
Yeah, and they're they're like $2 or $3 each. Even if you just get like the like e-versions of them on like Google Play or through iTunes or something. So it's like several $100s to get the full comic.
Wow.
Like the whole collection. It's ridiculous. I looked into it because I really wanted to, and then I'm like, nope, not.
Have you guys heard any more info on the spinoff? Because they're supposedly doing another type of Walking Dead coming out soon.
Filming it. All I know is that they're filming it. They haven't. Okay. They have. I think it. So I would assume next season would be.
Okay, that's going to be awesome, man. I wonder if they're going to do it like in like California or somewhere, or whatever, some different part of the world. I don't know, or if it'll be in the same area.
Yeah, I think it
do
was
it in
like
the Arctic.
Huh?
Do it like in the Yukon.
I mean, it's interesting because they could start over as far as when it first happened from day one. And tell another side of the story from a different perspective, or they could keep it going in that same time and have it where they intermingle. They have like shows that cross over. So I mean, they have a lot of options. I don't know where they're going with it because I haven't read the comics and different stuff. But I mean, they have a lot of license to do something good.
I think it would definitely be worth it to see like them intermix with like Woodbury, like the governor. Like the governor had been like part of like their collective at like one point or something, or like you see him just like in the background, like bring in other characters that have died.
Yeah.
And like resurrect them.
Bring Meryl back or something.
Speaking of going back, you guys are probably familiar with the Breaking Bad crossover theories. Have you guys heard anything about that?
Yeah.
Like
a little bit.
Breaking Bad. I told a friend of mine that, and he immediately started Googling it. And I knew about Merle's blue meth, his like bag of blue meth that he had in his bag. And then there was obviously Daryl like describing the drug dealer. It sounded an awful lot like Jesse. But apparently, I didn't realize this, but in Woodbury, did anybody else see in Milton's lab? He had the same coffee maker, like the same coffee setup that they had in the giant lab in Breaking
Cold
Bad.
brew.
Yeah, they're like crazy huge, like all those tubes.
That's AMC for you.
Yeah. Summer's mind is blown.
That's like the Frozen, the Frozen and you know, what is it? What are the Tangled, Frozen, and Tangled in the other movie.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Or
I don't have
Turtle.
daughters.
The Toy
So,
Story unification
Right.
theory with like the
Yeah.
mom being Jesse,
Yeah.
Jesse's owner. But I'm really excited to see Better Call Saul. Although I don't want it to be a prequel, I want it to be a post-quel or a sequel,
Sequel.
or yeah, I guess sequel.
You
Post-quel.
want it to be post mill. I agree with you.
I was bringing it around.
I agree, brother.
Zeb
Yeah,
can't get away from this.
No, I can't. I try real hard.
He tries real hard. He even posted something innocuous about his birthday the other day, and I had to like.
Never get away from you guys.
Hey, real quick, you guys, what do you guys think is a better show, Walking Dead or Breaking Bad?
Different.
Breaking Bad is a better show. I think Breaking Bad is a better show. I like The Walking Dead better, though.
Walking Dead, you're more entertained by Walking Dead, basically.
Yeah, I find the premise more interesting.
Yeah, got you.
I think the premise of Walking Dead is better, but I think that Breaking Bad is a better show, and the sad part about Breaking Bad for me is like that I see a lot of like myself and Walt, which is
Exactly.
That's like a weird thing to admit, but like I don't see myself in any of the characters in Walking Dead, but I definitely see myself in characters in Breaking Bad.
Shane?
Shane?
No.
No. Shane.
Dale?
What kind of character is Shane? Like that. Those type of characters like really annoy me. Like Shane, Gorman, kind of like the governor, kind of like the bully kind of.
Gorman was flat, but Shane and the governor, they had an arc to them. They had a story.
We'll have to see what happens with Gorman. Like we don't know enough about him to say too much one way or the other.
You think we're going to see him again?
What?
You think we'll see him again?
I think that there's more to Gorman. I think we're not done with him. I think that the next episode will be what happens. I think that this episode will lead directly into the next episode, and then these two episodes will take us back into where Daryl pops out of the bush. But I definitely think that Gorman is where I think we'll see him again.
What's the guy's name? Abraham, the one with the flat top that left, the big guy. Yeah. Doesn't he come back in the next episode? Didn't we see that in the preview? He's back or something? Like he never left? I don't
think so.
Well, I saw the Talking Dead. There was a scene from the next Talking Dead, and he was bashing somebody's head in with a can of corn or like a can.
Yeah, but it looked like he returned back to the group.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But no, he was driving like a bus or something. Like he was.
Yeah, they took it was
the
him
church
and
bus.
Eugene and Rosita, and then they took Glenn and Maggie, and then the one girl who I can never remember her name, and they all took off.
So how long do you guys think this they're gonna make it last? Another season or two, or how long do you think this can go on?
They've already signed him up for season 6.
Okay.
So there's at least another season after this one.
Yeah. Do you think that should be it, or do you think it should keep going?
As long as they can support it, I'd say keep going with it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like I think they need to go bigger now. I think they need to go toward like
a rebuilding.
Or like a bigger collective of people or something, or some kind of other society. I like to see what's happening like in the UK or
Yeah.
I don't care about what's going on over there.
Yeah, this is
the
close.
The UK, they're all dead at this point.
They
There's
have
no
no
one left
weapons.
in the UK.
So
They
they're
have no
all
weapons. I know. Will Bassett, if you're watching this, that was for you.
They're over there with no guns, and they don't even have knives that can lock in place.
Yep.
The UK's done. They're
all dead.
There's probably some crazy like Scotsmen with like long swords and stuff,
That's right.
but they're the only ones.
Yep. Absolutely.
The Middle East is okay.
Well, that reminds me of you've probably seen the movie Shaun of the Dead, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, one of my favorites.
I've
When
not
they're
seen
when they're throwing the records at the zombie in the backyard, and they're deciding which ones are worth keeping and which ones to throw. It's like
That's a great scene.
Purple Rain. He's like, "Oh, keep it." No, throw it. Like Linda Ronstadt, throw it.
Okay, well, go ahead.
Adam, you asked earlier if the whole thing about the greater good reminded anybody of anything. And I don't know how nerdy you guys are if I'm like really showing my cards here, but the big thing in Harry Potter was for the greater good. And that was really the first time I had thought about communism in terms of the greater good. And you kind of see these characters in Harry Potter, no shame, go through this character arc of, do you do things for the greater good? And what does that look like? And so I saw some of that struggle in Dawn, in that I don't think she started out being what she is now, but she was apparently so sold into that idea of the greater good that she turned into what she is now. And so I just thought it was interesting because, you know, so many people today, I think, have communistic ideals and they don't even know it. And on the face of it, they wouldn't necessarily be able to diagnose what's wrong with that belief. So it was interesting that it was assigned to the bad guys in this story.
Yeah. And you know what? One way you can diagnose that in a person who's just on the street is kind of like when somebody says like there ought to be a law that prohibits people from whatever, like whether it's painting their house an annoying color or I don't know, just some random thing. Yeah, whatever. Consuming alcohol or something, whatever it may be. You see that come out like in like little bits and pieces in like people who like claim to be like conservative Christians even, like they'll say like, I think we should make this illegal, I think we should do this, like, and like you see this creeping socialism, communism kind of come in to people who I feel like kind of should know better, but like what happens is like practicality starts bleeding into people's lives, and they can succumb to it really easily, and I think it'd be really easy to once kind of like there's no structure anymore in society.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. I have to read the Harry Potter books. I've seen all the movies, but I've never read any.
I love Harry Potter. I endorse it.
Yeah.
Good job, Summer. Good job.
Everybody keeps on saying like how like the books are so much better, which obviously everybody always says that. But yeah, I've read like I think like the first like 10 pages to the first book, and then I fell asleep. So
a lot of good concepts there, man. A lot of good concepts there.
I did read all the Hunger Games, and I really enjoyed those, except the
they were written for a 10-year-old.
For a 10-year-old girl.
That, but like there's.
Hey.
If we're gonna talk about things from a Christian worldview, there are some like major problems with the protagonists in that.
Major, yeah.
Hey, I had a quick question. Somebody asked me the other day. What would you rather be if you had to in either world? Would you rather be in the Hunger Games world for survival, or would you rather be in The Walking Dead? I personally would rather be in Walking Dead. Yeah.
Walking Dead.
Well, first off, there's some crazy science fiction technology that happens in the Hunger Games where like you pretty much cannot escape.
Your back's against the wall. Yeah.
In like a North Korean regime, like they have like bad technology to be able to track you and stuff, but like they have like cameras that they're inserting and like
they can make up fire out of nowhere.
Yeah, they're inserting cameras in like bees and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have to leave my house to stay in the Walking Dead universe.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, if you live out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
I want them to go back to the farm, the Herschel's farm. I think that was like beautiful scenery, and I think that they should just go back and claim that.
Take the main.
Yeah, that's what it looks like where I live. That's what it looks like north of Atlanta. That's legit. That's not a joke.
For real?
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
I want huge tracts of land.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Yeah.
They're everywhere. I just killed a spider because I live in the woods. Oh.
I hate spiders.
Me too.
Yeah.
Man, did not like
don't bother me
spiders.
as much as centipedes.
I kept it together because
Centipedes
there's a camera on.
Centipedes are the worst.
Oh yeah. We've got these silverfish up here. I hate them.
Yeah, we get those. I get those in my house.
Oh man, things and super fast too. Blend in with the carpet. I hate them.
Okay, so since
on that note,
we've just started evolving to talking about insects. So I don't know if we're ever going to do this again. Maybe with different people. Who knows? But If you've lasted this long, thanks for joining us. You can get Javon McKenzie at javonmckenzie.com, right?
Yes, sir.
You can see Len Pettis at the Bible Thumping Wingnut on iTunes and BibleThumpingWingnut.com. Me and Zeb, there's Zeb, there's me. ReformedandReloaded.com. And Summer, you have a blog, right?
I have a blog. I might be blogging somewhere big soon, but we'll have to
Somewhere
find
big? Oh, wait.
check
I
back
think
with
I
you
know.
later.
I think I know where you're going to be because I saw a preview of it.
Yeah. Well, I haven't even seen a preview of it yet.
I've seen a preview.
Oh, well, anyway, check back with me later.
Sounds good. All right, well, guys, thanks for doing this, and maybe we'll see everybody next time.
All right, y'all take care now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.